Hi everyone, Lewis here. I wasn't going to do a review of this movie because sometimes I just like to go and see movies and enjoy them and don't think about reviews too much. And then if I feel like I have something to say, I do a review. I try and do one a week, you know how it is. But I just saw the Banshees of Inisherin. I believe I'm saying that correctly. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about it. I've been using a orange and a green color scheme for my lights. I've got one either side, and you can't really see because the reflection on me. And I was going for more of a spooky thing because it was October. But this is an Irish film, so I just thought the orange and the green really makes sense as well there. So that's good. But it just kind of looks whatever. But anyway, it's not what you're here for. Yeah, I saw the movie. It's a Martin McDonagh movie, and it features Brendan Gleeson and Colin Farrell. So it's an In Bruges reunion. So I was looking forward to this because I like In Bruges a lot. And the trailer for this looked great. It looked like a kind of a dark edge sort of comedy, and it very much is. But I wanted to talk about it because I really, really enjoyed it, and I thought I'd enjoy it a bit. I hadn't seen any reviews of it. I hadn't seen anything really, and I just thought, I know this is going to be good. I know this is going to go down well generally. I had seen some. The only thing I'd seen was when I saw an advert for it, or when it came up on like the cinema booking thing. It was like people talking about awards and stuff. But awards doesn't always mean that it's gonna go down well with a lot of people. But um, but yeah, it's definitely. Okay, I'm not going to spoil anything, and I don't want to oversell it because I think if you're interested in seeing this, probably just go and see it. I don't want to oversell it and then people be let down by it because I think it won't quite be what people are expecting. It was definitely a lot kind of a lot darker than I was expecting. Like it's one of those where all the funny bits are in the trailer mostly, but they're not in a bad way. Like they're still funny in the context of the movie, and I think they did that to kind of make it look a bit more kind of comedic, and it is initially, and it's not like there's no real kind of twist or anything. It just kind of as it develops, like it just gets a bit more kind of grim and more apparent that this isn't like a comedy as such. It's definitely funny and definitely comedic, but there is just it's almost like a dark sort of folk tale, almost like a fairy tale aspect in some ways. And it's one of those where there's not, I wouldn't say there's like a clear message or narrative as such. I mean, the narrative, yes, but not the meaning behind it. So I think it's quite open to interpretation of what kind of maybe like the moral of the story is. And I like that because it made me go away and think about it and come back to it. I think it might put a lot of people off. I think that it might be a little bit too, not too dark, but probably not quite what people are expecting. I think the narrative isn't traditional enough to where some people might not find it concludes in a satisfying way as such. Not that it doesn't. I think that for some people it might not, if that makes sense. Yeah, and for me it was great. I was absolutely, I wouldn't say like gripped, I wasn't like edge of my seat, but there was no point in the film where my mind wandered or anything. I was just so into it, and I genuinely at no point did I really know what was going to happen next, which is great. It's hard to do in a film, and yeah, I was just with it the whole way, and I just kind of I didn't want it to end. Sometimes even when I'm enjoying a film, I can be like, yeah, no, I could do this wrapping up now, but there was no point in this one where I kind of felt like that. I was just like, this is great. I just want to watch it keep unfolding and just see what happens and see what the characters get up to. I think Colin Farrell was the real standout in this. Like again, it's not a dramatic or showy performance in many ways. It's just kind of you believe he's just this character that he's been, and obviously Brendan Gleeson's great as well. And the supporting cast, you get Barry Keoghan and Kerry Condon, who are both really, really good in their roles. And a lot of the supporting cast, I see a few faces that I've seen in other Irish films as well that often pop up in these films, and all just really good, really well done, really good like setting of the scene and that. And it's yeah, I really liked it. I feel like it might be a bit much for some if you're expecting a certain thing. Like a lot of people in my screening were elderly people, and I don't know if they were expecting something a bit different, but there was lots of laughs and kind of reactions to some of the more extreme parts of the film were kind of like not discussed. Although one woman did leave about half an hour before the end, which I was quite surprised at, but it was after a particularly dark bit in the film, shall we say. Yeah, but yeah, I really liked it. I think because we're getting towards the end of the year, I think my kind of my top 5, or probably do like a top 10 this year of my favourite films of the year. I thought that was pretty much set, but I feel like this is going to upset that a bit, so I'm going to have to give it some thought. I'm going to let it kind of ruminate and kind of reflect on it and just kind of see how I feel about it. But yeah, I think it's definitely going to be one of my favourites this year. I really, really got on with it. I don't know when I'll watch it again. It's not one of them where I kind of go, I can't wait to see that again. It just really kind of had a good impact on me. So sometimes I think it's good just to watch a film once and just have that memory of it kind of thing. But yeah, I really like it. I really do. Really good stuff. But yeah, like I say, your mileage may vary. Who knows? Yeah. Thanks. Leave a like. That's what you say, innit? Cheers.